On this Monday in Watkins, Glen, New York, Tony Stewart was the undisputed king of the road course. It's his 5th win at the Glen, his 7th road course win, and now he has a huge bump in points. Although the smoke did not mathematically clinch a berth in the playoffs, he has his biggest lead of the season over second place Jimmie Johnson. Congratulations from Dad, and congratulations all around from the number 14 team, as once again they are in victory lane at a road course, and what a dominating performance in the latter portion of the race by the smoke. Marcus Ambrose, one of the best in the business, Jimmy, but he could not catch Tony Stewart.
No, and a lot of different strategies played out, but yet they all came down to the end. The last 30 or 40 laps, you knew they weren't going to pit again. And I says, man, Marcus's car's a lot faster on old tires. But Kenny, there's something about Tony. I mean, we were standing there talking about it. Here's Marcus chasing him, but Kenny, he never lets his car get out of shape.
You know, I've said it about a couple drivers, race fans. I've said Tony Stewart, one of the greatest of all time. And I said he can win anywhere, road courses. You know, you name it, super speedways. Look at him, I mean, he's jerking a world champion driver. Marcus Ambrose is a world champion road racer.
And think back, Kenny, earlier, we're showing highlights, but the 47 car, they make a decision to stand on the pits. That is very interesting. We'll show you later on what happened there.
And I'd like to point out, it was turn 1 that was Tony Stewart's spot. Marcus Ambrose locked the brakes up 2 or 3 times in the closing laps. It made Tony Stewart get it on and go away with the victory.
And there is Tony Stewart climbing out once again after his 5th win at the Glen, and now that leads all active drivers, one better than Jeff Gordon with 4. Let's take a quick look at some highlights. Of course, we'll get much more in-depth later, but here's a brief version of what had gone on here as we see Jimmie Johnson and Kurt Busch leading us to the green flag. It was the first time ever that Jimmie Johnson was on the pole for a road course race. Ended up with a solid finish, but not exactly what he wanted to do. The 47 car of Marcus Ambrose trying to go for the weekend sweep. He won Saturday in the Nationwide Series, and here he goes by Kurt Busch, showing exactly what this guy from the land down under is made of as he makes the pass around Kurt Busch for the lead. Eventually, he will get it over Kurt Busch. Now we see some dicing and banging going on back in the field. 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Reed Sorensen go into the pea gravel, and they get off the course and into the tires. Now we have one of the scariest wrecks we've seen in a long time. Sam Hornish gets into Casey Kane and goes flipping across the racetrack, hitting Jeff Gordon hard. The good thing about this is all the drivers were okay. Bad news is we had a couple of torn up road course racing cars, and those guys were all done for the day. Here comes Tony Stewart in turn number 1, as we mentioned again, takes the lead away, and there was going to be no stopping the smoke as he went on to lead 26 laps en route to his 7th career road course win. And you know what? Even with the likes of Marcus Ambrose, Kyle Busch, and other great road course drivers chasing him, Tony Stewart was able to come around and get the checkers with 26 laps led in a dominating late race performance. And there's Dad saying, way to go, Tony. Yeah, Dad won't be giving Tony a hard time today. He'll be saying, way to go.
You know, and the thing is, we see Junior getting that wreck. He lost his brakes, but we'll show this wreck earlier again. The 2477. Thank God. We are quickly will crucify NASCAR. Well, you know what? NASCAR's done a diligent job on this car that we're racing right now. No drivers got hurt. That was the worst accident I've seen on a road course. We're going to show you this. Fans, I'll be quiet. Let's watch this. That is devastation, Kenny.
You know what? The Hans device, the safer barriers, the seats. I mean, watch this. The 9 gets into the 77. Casey Kane said, I'm sorry.
Look at Gordon hit the wall. Super. Joey Logano involved. Just thank good Lord nobody got hurt, Kenny.
And I want to say that Jeff Gordon said, look, race fans, this did not do my back any good. I'm glad it's Michigan next week. I'm glad we got 2 weeks to go to Bristol. So Jeff Gordon still worried about his back after that big wreck. And on the lines of the safety of the new race car, you could see the front of Jeff Gordon's car when he hit that barrier give way, and that's exactly what NASCAR want to do. They want to take the impact off the body of the driver and let the front of the car absorb the impact, and that's exactly what we saw.
I was in the garage area, Johnny, and I went and I looked at these cars. And I've never seen the collapsion ratio of the front frame clips and stuff that push together. But yet I looked inside. The driver's seat area, their leg restraints, everything about the inside of the car, absolutely none. I talked to Sam Hornish. He just thanks the good Lord. He thanks NASCAR. You know, Kenny, we're quick to comment NASCAR's bad. I want to say they've done a great job with this car.
And you know what, I talked about that wreck. You know, Sam Hornish, a real good guy. You know, Jeff Gordon, you know, he did not need this break. Let's hear from both of these drivers as one of the most violent wrecks we've seen here at Watkins Glen in a long time.
The only one that I saw was the one into the tire wall, and after that, you know, I pretty much just closed my eyes and waited for it to be over with. And after I got hit the first time, you know, the second one came pretty quick, and I was just hoping there was nobody else there. So, I mean, big wreck, but I don't know. You don't ever want to make highlights like that, so we'll see what we can do.
But rough hit really for Sam. You know, I saw him get taken wide there off the carousel, and you know, once I saw him start to go around, I knew he was going to get the outside wall and kind of do what we saw with Jason Leffler in the nationwide race. And I was just trying to pick where to go, you know. I don't know if there was any safe place to go where I was sitting, and you know, I just nailed him. I tried to squeeze by him on the outside, and just no way, and nailed him, spun him around like a top, and you know, took a toll on my back. Nothing else hurts. Everything else is good, just the back. And you know, then I got in the outside wall, the other side, and was just sitting there in the track hoping nobody was going to hit me again.
Yeah, you kind of hear the shakiness in Jeff Gordon's voice. You don't usually hear that, so obviously he got a hard hit right there. But Kenny, what could you do in that area maybe to prevent this from happening again?
Well, you know, it's always been like that, but there's a lot of talk right now with this newer car. The car's got a lot of high center of gravity. It likes to slide a lot. They're talking about paving that just like they did turns 1. So, Spence, I think they got to get rid of that grass area because the car is different now.
Soft, safer barriers, too. I think that this track is going to be forced. We saw a very bad accident in Las Vegas. At Las Vegas, they fixed it. I believe Watkins Glen will have to look at this with NASCAR, and NASCAR will step up the program and say, guys, we need some safer walls here.
Well, Stuart Haas Motorsports is going to look back on this day and say, way to go, guys. As you look at this teamwork here as the smoke congratulates Bobby Hutchins and also his crew chief, Darian Grubb, on a great job done today. We'll talk to the smoke and take you through the checkered flag in just a moment.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you in part by Mike's Hard Punch, mix up a whole new party. And by NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. Your debit card, your credit card, your driver. Learn more at a Bank of America Banking Center today.
Welcome back, race fans, to Watkins Glen International. As we started this second and final road course race of this season, we had 5 to go. Now we have 4 to go for the chase, and we had some of the leading contenders in the back of the pack and some of the leading chase contenders in the front of the pack. And here comes Kurt Busch, Spence.
Yeah, you know, Kurt Busch quickly here steps out to the lead, but I want to show you, fans, something. The 12th car, good qualifying effort. He's right there in 5th. But watch this now, fans. He makes a risky move here underneath Ambrose. You don't try to outbreak somebody that's that good. Now it's already, he realizes he makes a mistake, but what I want to watch is the end result. This mistake that he made going into turn 9 ends up costing 1 or 2 spots. Oh no, as this race progresses here, he loses 5 spots in less than half a lap, Kenny. So very inexperienced by David Stremme. Just look at this. This is turn 1 now, fans. This is still going on. This started back in turn 9, Kenny.
Yeah, and what happens is this is a rhythm racetrack. So, you know, I mean, you got to hit all your marks. We know that. I mean, I raced here a couple days ago, and it's hard to hit your marks, but Stremme loses positions after position. What we're trying to point out is that you have to hit all your marks, and when you don't, this is what happens.
Now, a lot of people were wondering what the heck was going on right here. Take a look at the number 47 of Marcus Ambrose. Starts on pit road, then stays out. And at the time, a lot of people were doubting this decision that was going to come back to bite him.
Well, everybody wants to say that, oh, we can run 38 laps. We can run 34. Here's the 48 pitting now. The thing is a lot of these guys worked on this Saturday. They're trying to get all the gas mileage they can, but you know what? Marcus knew if he pitted there, he'd have to pit again 3 more times instead of just 2. But here's a bad one here. No driver wants this to happen.
Oh.
Bam!
Oh.
He hits the UPS driver there as he comes around the corner. And I'm gonna tell you what, Kenny, as a driver, this is not what you want to see.
Well, you know, I mean, that's one reason we have pit road speed, although that had nothing to do with speed. That's the reason NASCAR penalized me on Saturday. They said I was outside my pit box. So when you see something like that, You got to adhere to the ruling. That's why the drivers have to be inside their pit box.
Dwayne Ogle was the name of that crew member that got hit, and we certainly hope he is okay after that. Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton were 2 of 3 drivers that got hit with speeding on pit road penalties at that time. And it was funny to look back to see that Denny Hamlin could do that in such a short period of time. But here comes Marcus.
Look at this, though, fans. Come on, man. 2, 3, why? Double file restarts.
Shootout style.
This racing's
Look at this. You have never seen this at all before in road course racing. Absolutely phenomenal racing. Look at this all day long, guys.
Now here you see an unfortunate incident for the number 29, Kevin Harvick, and the 12 of David Stremme as he goes for a spin, hits Jeff Gordon. Actually, Kevin Harvick came back around and hit Jeff Gordon after he tangled with the 12 as well. And afterwards, Kevin Harvick was none too happy with Mr. Stremme.
Well, you know what? This is just a rough situation. David Stremme gets in too hot, can't get it slowed up, gets in the grass. And I mean, look, there was a wreck. What are you going to say?
He was over driving, Kenny. He wasn't capable of running where he was. He made a major mistake. He should have tried to get a solid run. He made too many mistakes, and he compounded them to a bad day. But you know what? Here's another pass for the lead. Kurt Busch, Kenny, you picked him. Very strong today.
I picked Kurt Busch to win, and I do believe he had the fastest car on the racetrack. Well, maybe not the fastest, but a good top 3 car. Pit strategy ruined this man. I mean, this car was so fast, just totally out of sync. No tires, gas and go, but still not a good call.
But let's face it, Kenny, your brother drove for this Blue Deuce, and you know Penske makes a lot of horsepower in that Dodge.
Yeah.
Don't get the fuel mileage.
But let me tell you something. Both these drivers, the 47 and the 2, made some weird pit strategy.
Fuel mileage.
Totally off sync of the whole field. Of course, Marcos finished 2nd, and then, of course, Kurt Busch finishes 7th.
Now that's the Wood Brothers Racing crew that's pitting Marcus Ambrose's car, and they did a fantastic job. Here we see the 18 of Kyle Busch. Remember, he's your defending race winner, and he goes by Jimmy Johnson.
And right now, he's not thinking about this, but this is a step in the right direction. We know he's 11th in the points, and he has to have a solid day. He's not worried about the points right here. He's worried about getting the lead and trying to win this race.
Welcome to road course racing, Joey Logano.
Oh, he'll forget this. He's still young. He made a mistake, and he came out back to finish today. You got to give the kid one road course race to get it underneath his belt. He's got 1 full year now. Now he'll be better next year.
Yep. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to struggle all weekend long, and here he gets into Reed Sorensen. They both go off into the so-called kitty litter.
Yeah, but Junior lost his brakes. I was in the pit area talking to Junior. Junior suspense. I went in the corner there, stepped on the brakes, blew a rear brake line off Kenny, and you know what? Thank God. Nobody got hurt in this incident. But they both got crashed.
And you
nobody got hurt.
And you say to yourself, how can a great team like Hendrick Motorsports blow a brake line out? Race fans, let me just tell you, there is part failure. Dale Jr. is just, my gosh, he needs something to get off.
Snake bit.
He's got a gorilla on him right now.
And you not only have to have a great driver behind the wheel of the car, but the equipment has to hold up as well. And you know what we're talking about holding up here? They got the champagne out. Hopefully we are out of firing range here. We're going to take a quick break as they start spraying the champagne. When we come back, we'll take you to the checkered flag and the highlights, and we'll have the smoke. Tony Stewart, the big winner today, come over and talk with us. Get fired up for Big Block Thursday on Speed. First, Memphis brings out the muscle in an all-new Pink Sol out at 8. Then at 9 on Jack, the drive-by shooting puts the Wolfpack on the prowl. And don't miss an all-new Wrecked at 10. Big Block Thursday starts Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Now let's get you back to the highlights of a hell of a good...
We're taking care of Tony.
Well,
He's
right
going to come
now,
up
Tony,
later, but
what are you doing, guys?
We're taking care of him.
Yeah, I've got his right shoulder here.
Tony, do you want them touching you like that? All right, let's do the highlights. Well, these guys do, I don't know what with Tony. We'll talk to Tony in a minute, but let's go back racing here as Kyle Busch is in the lead. But guess what? The guy who was just getting rubbed down by Spencer and Wallace is on the outside, and he's taking the lead away once again.
Well, what's impressive here is that, he is so strong in that corner. Kenny mentioned it earlier. And Kenny, he took advantage of it right there.
Well, I think it's turn 1 all day that Tony Stewart was the best. He never overbraked. Remember, he learned a year or two ago that was the corner that dealt him a fit, him and Jeff Gordon wheel hopping. This time around, Tony Stewart does not wheel hop in turn 1.
Patrick Carpentier was behind the wheel of the 55 this weekend for Michael Waltrip. Here he gets tangled up with Ryan Newman.
That's called wheel hop. Ryan Newman wheel hopped and lost control.
And even a driver as good as the 48, it can happen to him as well. Watch Jimmy Johnson.
Hey, I've said it on our show this morning, the Home Depot show, that, this is going to be the problem. They're going to have a brake problem. What happens, fans, the front brakes get hot, the rear brakes don't, they start to lock up.
Here comes Juan Pablo Montoya, winner on a road course before, but that one was Sonoma. He's trying to get a win at the Glen.
He is very consistent because he's from Bogota, Colombia.
He is. Right. He had a
very consistent
run.
pit stop as well. A very solid run for Juan Pablo Montoya, as he not only is trying to win this race, but he's also trying to stay in the chase for the Sprint Cup. And here is your points leader, Tony Stewart, very calmly. They stayed out an extra lap here, and that really paid dividends down towards the end as they have a very smooth, run-of-the-mill pit stop for that great team.
And here we go with Kurt Busch. You know, this car did not get the fuel mileage it needed. Here he pits again, and he's got the rally back. Now he comes out about 14th or 15th, not where he needed to be to try to track down Tony Stewart.
But if anybody could rally back, it's the driver, the number 47, Marcus Ambrose, has been so close to a win on this track in the Cup.
I would like to make a statement. He is a world-class driver. He won 2 championships in Australia. Now here's the big one, race fans. Okay, Casey Kane gets loose, gets into the 77. Now, Spencer, I agree with you. If a soft wall would have been there, it would have not thrown that car back out into the track.
I think the tires, watch this, fan. You see the tires, they coil, they come back. God, I just thank the good Lord. I believe in them, the good Lord, and I believe that these drivers did too. And there's no word to describe this, just
violent.
NASCAR, Jeff Gordon, everybody, they just have to thank NASCAR for this. And I'm just glad nobody got hurt and we move on. But we learned a lot from that accident.
Yeah, I saw a couple wadded up race car, but very good that it was not wadded up race car drivers.
And this is interesting. The 18 chose the outside here, fans. This is very funny. He made it work in the nationwide race. You think that, okay, it's going to work. Well, here we go for this restart. He's on the outside, and you know why? He puts Tony Stewart on the inside, going into the turn. Tony Stewart is the best at turn 1. Uh-oh, Kenny, look at this. It's all over.
Well, you know, one thing that we know for sure is this new car drives a lot different than the nationwide car. So the outside groove does not work today.
Well, watch the 18 to lock up the brakes. You know, he told Wendy on a NASCAR Live the other day, or actually on NASCAR Race Day, that he was having trouble with his brakes, and there they lock up.
Yeah, and that left the door open for the 99 and the 16, and they needed a good run, that Roush team, and they did. But here, Elliott Sadler over brakes, loses control. The 55 spins out, but the 55 gets hit by the 6 car. So, you know, unfortunately, all those guys get tangled up. It was a compounded wreck situation there.
Here's what you don't want to see if you're a guy other than Tony Stewart on the racetrack. You don't want to see Tony Stewart out front at Watkins Glen. Nobody does it quite as good as the smoke here at the Glen, and there was going to be no chasing him, even for Marcus Ambrose, who put together a great race, but there was no catching Tony.
And look at his car, fans. The guy does a fantastic job. He has his car. He knows where his car is at all times, and now he knows.
There's Dad.
Checkered flag, and there's his dad. Yeah, baby.
Way to go, Smoke.
Smoking them tires.
So Tony Stewart comes around to get his 5th win at the Glen, his 7th road course win, and also a huge bump when it comes to Sprint Cup points. He now has his biggest lead over 2nd place Jimmy Johnson in the points. But hats off to anybody who was able to finish in this top 10 today.
You know, the thing is, guys, is what needed to happen today happened for these guys. Kyle Busch needed a good run. Greg Biffle, Juan Pablo. This is very interesting. Clint Boyer with a top 10.
I made a call out to Richard Childress Racing. I said, all alert, you have to get Clint Boyer safely in the top 10. They did it. Clint Boyer finishes 9th.
Hey, Max Papperson, the Geico Toyota. Great job, but Max with a top 10. First time ever for him.
You know, Brian Vickers is battling to get in that chase. An 11th place finish might not be exactly what he needed, but he's close.
And you know what? I said a little bit ago, give Joey Logano some time. He comes back to finish 16th. Great job,
Great
Joey.
run. Great run.
David Stremme, 26 after a very difficult day, and Andy Lally in his first ever Cup race came home 27th.
Yeah, Andy Lally was involved in that wreck there with Jeff and, you know, Sam and Jeff Burton and all those guys. But Martin Truex, a lot better car than that. He was in the top 10. Evidently, had to make a late race pit stop, and that cost him.
Some big names way back in the field. We got Kevin Harvick in the 29 and 35th, Jeff Gordon in the 24 in the 37 spot, and Jeff Burton way back in the 38th.
Now, what do you think Jeff Burton is thinking right now? He's thinking, what happened? Where's all my luck gone?
Well, if it weren't for bad luck, it seems like the 31 wouldn't have any luck at all. Let's take a look at the points, and as you will see, Tony Stewart now has his largest lead of the season, 260 points over Jimmy Johnson.
That's not that important. What's important now is he gained 10 more, Johnny.
The bonus points.
The bonus points is very critical right now. That would put him with 3 wins, and that is very important, Kenny.
As of right now, Matt Kenseth is in. Mark Martin is in, as is the Biff and Newman.
Yeah, but Mark Martin and Ryan Newman took big hits today, fans. They have dropped back to 9th and 11th. Matt Kenseth hung on to that 11th or 12th. This is getting to a very dangerous territory for these guys, but there is only 4 to go.
And as we do here on Speed Victory Lane, we are taunting you. We will show you 13, 14, 15. Let me say this. Stay tuned because it is a race for the 12th spot. It was a great finish by Glen and those guys.
That's what you call a teaser. And here is our Valvoline guaranteeing the win. Nobody did it quite like Tony Stewart, but how about their call to stay out one extra lap before everybody else pitted, and that gave them enough fuel to go the distance. Way to go, Tony. Darian Grubb, crew chief, is coming up next. Welcome back, race fans, to Watkins Glen International. Took an extra day to do it, but I don't think anybody on the number 14 team minds. They are back in Victory Lane. Tony Stewart is a often visitor to this Victory Lane, as now he has his 5th win, and a lot of that courtesy of, hey, can we charge Tony rent? We're sitting on our stage like that, doing other, and that's okay. We wouldn't do it to him. Darian, congratulations, man, but what a great call for you guys to stay out one lap further. You wouldn't think that this might, one lap of fuel might be that big, but here you are telling Tony, save fuel, save fuel, save fuel. That's a tough situation to be in, isn't it?
It is. Anytime you're road course racing, it always comes down to fuel mileage and when you can pit and get that track position, but we knew at that point we were running fast enough lap times. The guys that had pitted early weren't catching up on us, so we had to go everything we could go there to make sure we had enough to have a little cushion at the end so we could race as hard as we needed to stay in front of Ambrose. Those guys are really fast.
It was a great call.
Darian, no chassis adjustments at all. I was impressed today to watch the pit crew, and you guys never made any adjustments. What did you work on Saturday?
You must have been looking at the wrong people because we made some pretty major adjustments on the first and second stop. Tony went out there the first 10 laps, and he knew at that point with the track temperature being up so high today that we were really lacking the rear grip. So we made pretty big changes.
What'd you do?
Put some spring rubbers in the rear and some rounds and did some wedge and things like that that really woke the car up. And after we went out about lap 25, Tony said, yeah, we fixed it. So at that point, we went just a little bit further with those adjustments on the next stop, and the guys on the pit crew did an incredible job just keeping that track position, keeping their head in the game. It's a completely different scenario here with everything. The cars coming in backwards, the pit crews are all backwards, and it's just they kept their head in the game and went out there and got it for us.
Darian, as you know, you're a crew chief. The teams are spending upwards to $30,000 for brakes on the car. We've seen some great drivers losing their brakes today. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Now that you're all together, you kind of got Hendrick equipment. What makes some brakes work on some cars and some not on the other car when everybody's kind of got the same thing?
Yeah, there's a lot of new technology out there, a lot of really good stuff, and it's all a matter of how the driver manages those brakes during the race. Tony did a great job. He's actually taught me a lot about brakes since he came in, of some of the things he had done in the past to help brakes live a little longer, and we went and did some testing up at VIR, and he definitely made me a believer in his scenario, and we're going out there now, and brakes are really good all day.
So you're saying when Tony drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, he learned some things, and then he passed it on to you, and you went and tested it?
Yeah, he did. We went through, we're using all AP brakes now, and we did a really good job working with those guys and taking all the past history of the things they've learned. Everybody out there makes really good equipment now, so it's just a matter of actually going out there and doing the best with what you got.
Hey, big picture situation now here with Tony and the points. Now you got the biggest gap ever, I mean, so far this season, over Jimmy Johnson, but now you guys have yet another 10 bonus points when it comes to chase time.
That's huge. The competition's so close. You'll take every point you can get when you get into that chase. Now we at least know we're up in the 30-point bonus range, so hopefully we can keep packing on that lead when we start in the chase.
I was over the shop this week and walking around. The guys are telling me you're already preparing 3 cars for the chase per race.
Yeah, if you look at our history this year, we've already used 4 backup cars. So we've always got to have one in their back pocket because we know how hard you have to drive, and Tony has to put that effort forth on every lap. So there's always a scenario you can hit somebody else's oil or anything to be able to take a car out of contention. So you better have one on the way just in case you have to use your primary.
Excuse me, Darian, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is it true that Jimmy Spencer's on the payroll, letting him into your shop?
Don't you have security there?
He was cruising around. I bypassed and went back to my office and got some more work done.
Hey, fans, he walked right by me. He was like,
how can you miss Spencer?
security, get this guy.
I didn't miss him. I saw him over there. I just made sure I went and got my
you
work
knew
done.
it was him. Hey, Darian, congratulations, man. Great job.
Darian.
Keep up the good work. You
Oh,
guys.
no!
No!
Oh, good, Tony.
Little
All right.
Coca-Cola, courtesy of the smoke, and he hit his crew chief, not us. What a nice guy, man. I guess he can come back. So when we come back, we're going to have Tony over here, and hopefully when he comes, he is unarmed. Congratulations to Darian Grubb and the crew. Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, everyone. There's the trophy that Tony Stewart won, and here's some impressive numbers for you. 7 of the last 8 races here at the Glen, Tony Stewart has either finished first or second, and now that is with 2 different teams. As an owner-driver, the smoke is back in victory lane again. Tony, congratulations. How difficult is it when you're trying to hold off a road course racer like Marcus Ambrose, and you got guys in your ear saying, save fuel, man, save fuel?
Well, I mean, the great thing was Darian wasn't telling me to save fuel under green. You know, I basically ran my pace once we got the restart there, but it was when you know Marcos is there, it was for about 3 or 4 laps after each restart, you're sitting there looking to see if he's gaining on you and where he's gaining and where you're pulling away. So you know, basically I had the flexibility. We were able to get good restarts and pull away enough on the restarts to get a gap to where we could run our pace, not have to overdrive any corners. I could run each corner the way I needed to for the way my car was driving. So it gave us that flexibility to just to run our race and let him worry about having to catch us, not us having to drive away from him. So I could just run my pace and didn't feel like I had to put myself feel like I was taking any chances to stay up front. I could run my own pace.
Tony, I want to talk about turn 1. You know, 2 years ago, you and Jeff Gordon, some of the greatest road course racers, if not of all time, you know, wheel hop there 2 years ago. This year you come back. That's where you were leaving Marcos Ambrose. Tell me about turn 1.
Yeah, I felt really comfortable there. We were, you know, we were really good there yesterday in practice, and I got to thank AP for the brake package that we bring here. Those guys do an awesome job, and anytime that we go road course testing, they're always there helping out, and that's something we've worked really hard on is our brake package over the years. And you know, to be able to get down there where you load the front end so heavy and get the back end light, it's easy to wheel hop it that way. And that's just a section that we were good at all day long. The only time that we had a problem wheel hopping was when somebody got off on the entry and it got some grass on the track, and I slid through that and then it wheel hopped it. But still, we didn't move up more than about a car width, so it really didn't hurt us.
You know, A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, these guys were great all-around race car drivers. I believe Tony Stewart's in that league. I want you to explain to me and the fans why you are so good on the road.
I wish I knew, but if I knew that, I could bottle it and sell it. But you know, this is just a track that we've just always taken to. You know, I raced go-karts for Mark Dismore and Comet Kart Sales in Indiana in the WKE series, and we won a national championship once with those guys. But I think that go-kart experience is what got us used to going right and left. But you know, we went from that when I was 18 to not doing anything till I was 25, and then I got in a cup car and I had to start going road course racing again. But I'd never driven anything I had to shift. So you know, we went out to Bondurant. Chris Cook was my instructor out there and learned how to shift. And I never was really very good at the heel toe part of it. But luckily with these transmissions, you can sink the gears pretty easy just with rev and throttle. So you know, once we figured out how to shift, it just seemed like it was something that was natural to us, and it was fun. I mean, it was something that was different than just running a mile-and-a-half oval every week. Easy for me to say. And you know, but when we come here, it's fun. It's something different. That's something I've always enjoyed. It was just something that was kind of out of the box for us.
Hey, Tony, you got your biggest lead of the season over Jimmy Johnson right now in the points lead. You had a chance to mathematically clinch. That didn't happen. But if you do mathematically clinch into the chase with a few races to go, does that change your approach at all?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, you know, right now is not the time to get off what got us here. I think we have to stay the course right now. And, you know, Darian and I are still learning each other. The good thing is we're getting ready to go to tracks for the second time around, and we've got a set of notes from the first time. So it's going to be fun to go back there and, you know, when I go out for practice that first lap, not knowing what I had before when I get there, it's nice knowing what we're going to have when we go this second time around. So I think we just got to stay the course and try to fine-tune on what got us here and see if we can just make what we've got better.
Tony, all you have to do is start the race at Michigan to clinch. That's awesome, but I want to give credit where credit's due. You're holding that Coke can, but I noticed a blister right here.
That was from, I don't even know where that was from. That was from Indy, actually.
Wow.
My
It
God.
stayed there that long, so, but that's no big deal.
Well, you know
That's
what, though? I had some people ask me, why does Jeff Gordon bandage himself all up? And I mean, and you can saw on the wheel and get into the wheel that hard, can't you?
Well, I don't. Chicks dig scars. So, and when you know, as good looking as Jeff is, he doesn't want any scars. For me, I've got to work the total opposite direction. I know I'm ugly. I gotta get scars at a track, girls. So
Chicks dig race car winners too, though.
they like no mix.
That is
Tony.
fireproof fire suit.
Smoke.
Look, we spun out Spencer.
Well, this is absolutely phenomenal that what you've done, because you've set a precedence now as an owner with Mr. Haas for the future of our sport, and I like that. Will there be a third team possibly? Or are you waiting a little bit longer to get the 39 stronger? Give us just a little bit. What do you think is going to happen for next year?
Well, we don't have any opportunities right now for next year to build a third team, but we're definitely open to it. But if something like that's going to happen, the decision's going to have to be made in the next couple of weeks. Once we get to the chase, we're pretty much going to have everything done for the year with whatever we're doing. So we're definitely open to the idea. That I think what we wanted to do is make sure that we had 2 cars that were capable of winning races and making the chase and being contenders for the championship. And Tony Gibson and Ryan are doing an awesome job with the U.S. Army car, and I feel like Darian and I and our crew with the Old Spice Office Depot Chevy are doing a good job. So we just got to keep plugging away at it, and if the right opportunity comes along, then I think we're open to that. And when Joe Custer came to me a little over a year ago now, with this opportunity, he said that the goal for the organization was to be a 4-car team eventually. So that's kind of what we have in the back of our minds, and that's our goal for down the road. It's just a matter of timing and it being the right opportunity at the right time. We don't want to do it just to do it. We want to do it to make sure that we're putting people in there with partners and sponsors that we feel like we can put them in victory lane.
Well, you guys didn't do just a good job today. You did a great job today. Tony, congratulations. 5th win here at Watkins Glen. Way to go, man.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, race winner Tony Stewart is once again the undisputed king of the road. And we want to say congratulations, Tony Stewart, from NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. We'll be back with more from the Glen in just a moment. It's the race you've waited for all year, the race you could never get tickets to until now. For a limited time, purchase your tickets to the Sharpie 500, Bristol's night race, Saturday, August 22nd. Call 423-BRISTOL or visit bristolmotorspeedway.com for more information. And as always here on Speed, we advise you to be there. Now, Marcus Ambrose was there with a shot to win this race towards the end. Unfortunately for the 47, he could not pass Tony Stewart, but nonetheless, the 47 team brought home a fantastic finish. Let's go to Bob Dillner.
All right, Marcos Ambrose with his best career Cup finish, but I want to know, are you happy or still a little bit disappointed?
Oh, look, you can't be greedy. We've had a great weekend, first and second. We didn't quite get the double there, but I threw everything at Smoke, and he's just what a great driver he is. Just held me off and didn't make a mistake. We had about 8 or 10 more lap tyres than Tony did, and I think that may have been the difference to be able to close in and put him under more pressure. But just a great day for us. JTG Doherty Racing's here to stay with the help of Michael Waltrip Racing, and just really excited for our future.
How hard is that to balance saving fuel there at the end and going after Tony?
I was going after him, and I made a mistake with 2 to go, and then I got anxious to start saving fuel, but just all around a great day.
Marcos Ambrose with an awesome finish here, almost got his first ever win.
There are weeks that race car drivers look back on their career and they go, man, that was a career week for me. Listen to this, race fans. He wins the nationwide race on Saturday. He comes back and almost wins the Cup race. Not on any racetrack. A racetrack that's got 11 turns. You have to brake. You have to shift. So many opportunities to make mistakes. I congratulate this guy right here, Marcus Ambrose, on a career week. The only thing he can do to be better is to sweep a weekend. Race fans, what he did was phenomenal.
Well, and we all want to say, the old Christmas saying, if candy and nuts and all that kind of stuff, we'd have a Merry Christmas. Well, you know what? If he had 7 or 8 less laps on his tires like Tony, could he beat Tony? That's what happened. The car did not get the fuel mileage it needed. Frankie Kerr and his crew, they did a great job of let me tell you something, awesome job. For that car to come home second, for the strategy to play out that it did, to put them out of sequence. Kenny, this is a big step for Michael Waltrip Racing, without a question, for the future, for Marcus, the whole package. Really a good day.
And let's create some facts here. JTG Daugherty Racing, Brad Daugherty, the Cleveland Cavalier. Yep. Wow, that is a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. Cleveland Cavalier.
Yeah, he was a great basketball player. He grouped up with Tad Geschecter, and they created this team. And then they said, we got to get up to speed right away. So then they went to Michael Waltrip, and said, hey, Michael, let us use your equipment and let us go into your shop. So that is a difference. Just want to clear the air. It is not, Michael Waltrip does not own the team.
Yeah, but no, but you know what? They have agreed to another year again, Kenny. I think it's a benefit to both organizations.
Oh, it's incredible.
And the reason why I think Tad Geschecter and Brad Daugherty are great marketing guys. But along with Michael, this is going to strengthen Michael's organization even that much more.
And what a great trade, because now they can go to Marco Ambrose and go, hey, Marco, make our drivers, make Martin Truex next year, make David Room. Please help us make them better road racers. So you're right, Spence. A good trade.
I think right now, if I wanted to learn something about road course racing, I think I'd go ask Marcus Ambrose. So that is a big boost for Michael Waltrip Racing. A great finish for Marcus as he almost sweeps the weekend. We'll be back to the Glen in just a moment with more on NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed, where Tony Stewart and his number 14 team are celebrating yet another victory this season. And if you tuned in at this time to see Twin with Steve Michael and company, you're stuck with us tonight. Sorry, because of the Monday rain-delayed race for the second weekend in a row. But those guys will be back next Monday at 8 with another edition of Twin. But right now, we want to check in once again with Bob Dillner, and a guy who had an absolutely fantastic day and led the charge for Roush Fenway Racing, and that's Carl Edwards. Here's Bob again.
A big congratulations from Jack Roush here after the race. And how about an unbelievable run from 33rd all the way up to the top 3? Not too shabby, Carl.
Hey, that's not bad. From where we started in practice, just I can't say enough about my guys. The strategy was great. I ran out of fuel. It was missing on the last lap. And just got to thank the fans for coming out here on Monday. And, yesterday I thought we should run this thing in the rain, but NASCAR did the right thing, and it put on a good show, and it was really good for us. Aflac, Ford, everybody involved here. It's a good effort.
Finally getting this road racing thing. Best finish here before this race, 10th, not too shabby.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. We're moving up. It's not what we want, you know what I mean? I'd love to know what it feels like to win a race here, but man, we'll take that. 33rd to 3rd, great point stay, and we'll just move on to Michigan. It'll be a great race there.
Carl Edwards looking good. His first top 5 in the last 4 races.
Yeah, Jack Roush don't have a chance of winning this championship. Ha! Let me tell you something. Yeah, he's not won. Carl's not won a lot of races, but you hear what Bobby said? 33rd to 3rd. I will tell you this. I believe deep down inside that these last 10 races, when we get to Richmond, get them all locked in, do not count out Carl Edwards for a run at the championship. For that guy to do what he did today, and just very quietly, he doesn't give up. He keeps fighting. They proved it today. Jack Roush is here to stay. That team will contend for the championship, Johnny.
And remember what Carl Edwards did last year during the chase. All he did was go out and win a bunch of races. Now, another great job by another Roush Fenway team, and that's the 16 driven by Greg Biffle. Let's go back to Bob and the Biff.
The Biff very happy after this one at Watkins Glen. Top 5 finish, a sip of the Coke there. How about it, man?
Oh, it tastes good. Great day for a 3 and Ford Fusion. The guys did a good job on pit road. Engine ran really good, and transmission shifted good, and brakes worked well. That's what you got to have road racing. But I started running out of gas there at the end. Famous, thing. I'm too heavy on the gas pedal, and I started running out of fuel, and so I had to save, and I just backed up to the front bumper of the 42 car and just, make sure I keep him behind me. But I think I could have got the 18. I had a lot better brakes. But, I just backing off the gas early to save fuel. And when I'd run him hard, he'd make a mistake, but I just couldn't continue to do it and finish.
This is your best run at the Glen. I mean, you're really turning into a road racer. How proud of you are you of this team and even of your efforts today?
Well, I'm really proud of the team. The team's got to give me a good car, extra good car because of my driving capabilities road racing, and they gave me a really, really good car today. And, I kept it on the racetrack and did everything I was supposed to do and passed a lot of cars and raced with Boris Said and, Tony Stewart and all those guys, and we're able to pass a lot of these guys. So, I think it was a successful day.
Most importantly, gained some points, and he is battling to stay in the chase spot.
Let me clarify what he said. The Biff said, the team has to give me a good car. You know why? Because I don't have great capabilities on a road course. The Biff said that. Well, let me tell you something, Biff. You're a great race car driver, but the number one thing I'm most impressed with is, dude, you were 11th and 12th in the points. You getting close. Boom! Incredible finish, 5th. Now he's big time. Now he's in the chase looking good. Now they go to the track that they own is Michigan.
Yeah, and we know he has a shot of winning Michigan. We saw that last time. But when you hear some of these guys like Biff and them talk, I think that they're very aggressive. And by being very aggressive, you have to learn to control your aggression. That's what made Jeff Gordon very good. That's what made Tony Stewart so good. I think that's what Jimmy Johnson lacks. And I think that's what Greg Biffle lacks, is the ability to control it and tone themselves down.
On a road course.
On a road course, yeah, on the road course. And I think today helped Biffle with the understanding that he raced. He said he raced with these guys. And Kenny, I think that helped him for the future.
All right, when we come back, we're going to take a look at the top 12 in points, see who is in and who is out right now and how close they are from getting in or staying out. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, but right now we want to remind you that next week we are heading to Michigan. NASCAR returns to the MIS as the Race to the Chase intensifies. More than bragging rights will be on the line in Motown. Coverage begins Friday at noon Eastern with NASCAR Sprint Cup practice. NASCAR on speed. Be there.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate. Brought to you by the U.S. Army. There's strong, and then there's Army Strong. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
We're back at the Glen where Tony Stewart is celebrating yet another road course victory, and for the second week in a row, NASCAR's top series, the Sprint Cup, is racing on a Monday because of rain, but doesn't matter if it's Sunday or Monday, Tony Stewart finds himself back in victory lane again. That is his 7th career road course win and his 5th here at the Glen. Now let's take a look at where it really matters right now with 4 races to go before the chase cutoff. Let's take a look at who is in and who is out and who has moved up. Big number here, Kyle Busch, 43 points closer now to being in the chase.
But once again, guys, 5 guys right there from 7th to 12th. 5 of them guys have moved around positions again, Kenny. Very interesting. Kyle Busch made a big jump today.
Ooh, doggy. Okay, now listen to me here. Okay, Kyle Busch gains a lot of points. But here's the deal, Jimmy Spencer. If Kyle Busch gets in,
oh, no, don't.
Look who he's got to knock out.
Somebody's got to fall out.
What, Jimmy Spencer, what hero will Kyle Busch knock out? Ooh, ding dong, ding dong.
You know, fans, I hate to tell you this, but for some reason, the 5 and the 39 are sticking out. Not as strong, lot of problems. You know, Mark Martin, very, very, very bad run today. I did not think that 5 car would run that bad today, and I think that is going to really play havoc on his mind, Kenny.
Well, you know, and who knows, did Mark Martin have brake problems today like Dale Earnhardt Jr. did? I'd like to talk to Mark so I can defend him because I know Mark is great. Now,
Kenny,
look here, Ryan Newman, wow.
You know, and you said this is wild card, but you know, this is what they're going to build on next week going to Michigan. Yeah, it's a whole different racetrack, but we had a tough weekend, guys. We had a tough weekend.
And let's not forget that Michigan is the house of Roush. The Roush Racing drivers do very well there. Brian Vickers also is another contender for this championship that has run very well at the past at Michigan.
He sat on the pole there and ran in the top 5. You know, you're bringing a good point up, Johnny. This guy, all at once, could be one. He's what, 13th in the points? But
yeah, 90-some-odd points out of the top 12 right now, and that can be made up over the course of 4 races.
And you know what's starting to stun me a little bit is these great drivers and great teams are losing 50 and 60 points in one race. So don't ever go, oh, he's got a 60-point lead. That's 20 positions. Mark Martin raced all day long and finished 23rd, so stop that.
There's the big number. Jimmy's got it.
4 to go. And I'm going to tell you what, fans. To me, it's the most exciting time of our sport. The double file restarts, shootout style. The safety of these cars. These drivers are getting more and more confidence in these cars. The pit crews, they can't make mistakes. It's becoming such a team effort, so much so that if anybody makes a little bobble,
that was it.
There's a bobble.
That was a bobble.
There's a bobble.
That was a bobble.
That's what happens. It takes out Jeff Gordon. What if that's a Mark Martin or somebody that takes out? But you know what? At the end of the day, just thank the good Lord that nobody got hurt here. And I want to tip my hat to NASCAR. NASCAR, you did a great job. And I know NASCAR will come back and look at these walls and say, we can make this better to not have such a bad-looking wreck and make it look easier on the crew members.
But now here's what we're looking at. We've called this race the wild card. This is the race where you're least in control of your own destiny for the next couple of races. We still have to go to Atlanta. We still have Michigan, but those are wider open tracks. Faster, of course, but you have just a little bit more control of your own destiny.
You know, we all, as race fans, we love predictability. Oh, this who's going to win. Who's going to win?
You're right.
I tell you what, I think the last 4 races, we can come pretty close to predicting. Now all the crazy stuff's over. Now it's time for normal racing. And I think, you know, we can start predicting at Michigan. So stay tuned next week. Spence and me will all make some predictions.
And
why do you want to wait? I say we do it now.
Well, the thing about Michigan, look back to this. Don't forget that
Mark the Kid Martin.
This race. Whoa, wait a minute, he runs out of fuel. Mark the Kid Martin wins this race. Discipline, Nate, discipline won him there.
And we did predict that would be a fuel mileage race. So see, that was no surprise to us. That's how great we are.
And remember when we asked the great Mark Martin after that race when he started saving fuel, and he said on lap number 1.
Yeah, he did.
Think back to how good Mark Martin is, because if he would have won Phoenix, if his crew, the DEI crew, would have listened to him. I'm not counting Mark Martin out of this chase, but he needs to get it back on track next week in Michigan.
That is a very wise move, Mr. Spencer. Do not ever count out a driver like Mark Martin or anybody else who has a shot to make it in this chase. We're going to see some wild racing over the next 4 races, but as of right now, Tony Stewart is the undisputed king of the road.